What's going on, guys? Seth here from Team Union Seth, coach of your Philadelphia Fearows for Week 1 of the ISL, the International Showdown League. This is my first live comm, so just try to bear with me as I kind of work out some kinks. But I'm writing down his team now. So we have Landeristherian, we have Glycor, we have the Celesteela, we have the Golisopod, which is actually kind of weird. I didn't really expect him to bring it, but I am prepped for it. I am prepped for everything on his team. Mega Pidgeot and the Porygon 2. So my dedicated lead is Donphan, and I think I'm going to stick with that. He does have both of his ground flying types, so Infernape is actually looking pretty decent in this matchup. For everything, honestly. He could lead with Golisopod, and I'm thinking he's either going to lead with Golisopod or Landorus. And with that in mind, I think I'm actually just going to lead with Primarina. Rocks don't do. I mean, rocks are good for the Golisopod and for the Pidgeot. But I think I am just going to go ahead and lead with the Primarina. I'm going to go with that. He does lead with the Golisopod, so I'm just going to go for a Moonblast here. I don't see really any reason not to. He could switch into Celesteela, but I don't think that thing wants to really take the Scald. Porygon 2 is an option, but again, Moonblast is still going to do a good amount of damage to that. So he could go for the first Suppression, which is exactly what it is. He gets a crit, which is kind of unfortunate, and he does reveal that he has Life Orb, but the Moonblast, I do get a crit back and knock him out with that. So that's pretty fortunate for me. But we both kind of got crits, so that's fair on both ends. Now this thing is for the Pidgeot, so that crit does kind of suck, but we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out later. So here comes the Pidgeot. He doesn't kill me with his Hurricane. And this Ice Beam does a lot of damage. So here's the Ice Beam back. It brings him down to 7%. I'm just going to go straight up for the Aqua Jet. I really don't think he's expecting it. I'm sure he's expecting to just kill me. There's the Aqua Jet, and we kill him with that. So off to a really good start. We get 2 Mons down in the first 3 turns. So off to a really good start, and the Primarina basically did its job. It was here for that Golisopod and the Pidgeot, and it did its job just as it was supposed to. So looking good so far. He did bring, I didn't really expect the Porygon 2, I didn't really expect the Golisopod, and I didn't really expect him to bring both the Landorus and the Glycor, but he did end up bringing all of those. Now, like I said before, this thing has pretty much done its job, so I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam as he goes for the U-turn. So you do see the U-turn on the Landorus, and let's see what he wants to switch out into. So he could go into a Celesteela, which actually makes a lot of sense. If that is the case, let me actually start calculating a little bit and see how much Nidoking is doing to that Celesteela. Here's the Porygon anyway. I do kind of want to figure this out though. So Thunderbolt does almost half. So he goes into this thing. So I could go into Donphan, but I'm really thinking that the Infernape makes the most sense. Let's actually calc how much that close combat is going to do to this Porygon 2. So Porygon 2, defensive tank is fine. Close combat does 70 to 83, and he can fire back with nothing he wants to do, does a whole lot of damage. So I am just going to go into the Infernape. I can just fire off close combat. If he wants to go into something else, he can. I can see him going back into Landorus, so I kind of want to make that prediction. I kind of want to make that prediction of him going back into Landorus. He really doesn't want to take close combat from this thing, so I'm just going to go for the HP Ice, predicting him to go into the Landorus. He doesn't switch. That's kind of weird. I don't see why he wouldn't want to switch there, but I am just going to go for the close combat. Now, as he reveals, he has the Discharge, which again is kind of weird. So the close combat does a lot of damage. Another Discharge brings me down quite a bit. U-turn does not kill, so I do have to go for another close combat. I could go for a Flare Blitz. It doesn't do, it still kills. Well, how much did that do? That did 70. So yeah, that did about right. Flare Blitz does kill, and it'll be better against Lando or Glycor if I want to bring those in, but I think I'm just going to close combat. That's fine. Goes to Intimidate. I get a decent amount of damage off. I do think he's Scarfed. I very much think he's Scarfed, so I'm just going to go into my Donphan, who's max HP. Yeah, I think that's my play, the Donphan. So, not great having my Infernape this low. Just go for the knockoff, so it gets rid of my leftovers. Not a huge deal. He could just go into the Celesteela, which I think is probably his play. I'm just going to set up my rocks now. Rocks will be pretty good at this point. I am thinking he's Scarfed, just by the way he's playing that. Just by the way he's playing it, the Landorus. So I do think he's Scarfed. I go for the knockoff here, or I could do a couple things. I could go for the knockoff. I could sack off Infernape. I could go into Latias. Latias doesn't have a whole lot of use right now, so I think that is what I'm going to do, is go into Latias. He can take hits. There's the Leech Seed. So I'm just going to Thunderbolt, honestly. I'm just going to Thunderbolt. He could Protect and see the Thunderbolt. Okay, that Thunderbolt does a decent amount. It's about 35. He goes with Toxic. I am expecting to see a Protect here. So let me see Toxic. I am expecting to see a Protect here, so I'm going to double into my Nidoking. Here's a Heavy Slam. That does a lot of damage. Jesus. So I could Thunderbolt and bring this thing down, which is what I think I want to do. This thing is definitely very especially bulky. I eat the Shuca Berry. It doesn't do a whole lot to me. And I could fire off another Thunderbolt from here and bring him down pretty low. So honestly, I'm just going to go under Greninja. I am just going to go in. Actually, now that he gets that Special Defense Beast Boost, let me see how much Greninja is doing. This isn't the best situation, but it's not terrible, honestly. I could just go into the Infernape and fire off a Flare Blitz. Honestly, it's a little risky, just because. Well, let's go to the defensive, and then we'll go max special defense instead. So let's just say he's max special defense. 30. Yeah. So Greninja is not killing with the Hydro Pump. However, 2 Ice Beams should probably take it out. Let me check at +1. He does have the lefties if he goes for that. So, yeah, I'm not going to go into Greninja just yet. I think I am just going to go into the Infernape and fire off a Flare Blitz. If he wants to switch, he loses his boost, which is fine. If he wants to switch, he loses his boost, which is really good for me. If not, if he doesn't switch, he loses his Celesteela. He switches into the Porygon and just sacks that thing off. So that's good for me. It's good for me to get rid of the Porygon. Let's see what he goes into next. I'll probably go on the Landorus because I do outspeed the Gliscor, outspeed the Celesteela. So here comes the Landorus. And this thing is definitely Scarfed. You could go for the... I don't think U-turn kills, so you'd have to go for the Earthquake. So I'm just going to double into Latias, predicting that EQ. I think goes for the Stone Edge. Okay, that's kind of interesting. He could go for another Stone Edge. Ice Beam is pretty much my play no matter what, because it might actually kill the Celesteela from here. And if not, I definitely should KO it. Yeah, so it does kill the Celesteela, which is awesome. He can bring in pretty much whatever he wants. So I do have the option to sack this thing off if I want. I do outspeed the rest of his team, which is actually, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I am just going to sack this thing off going for the Ice Beam. He kills me with the knockoff. I go into Greninja. I am Scarfed, so I know I outspeed this thing. Go for the Ice Beam. Knock that out. Excellent. And then he has to bring in the Gliscor. I get my Battle Bond, and there's no way Gliscor is living this Ice Beam from a Battle Bond Greninja. Go for that last Ice Beam. Goes for the Protect. Not really much of a point. I guess he wants to get his Toxicroak up, but he's not going to get the recovery either way. Or is he going to go for a double Protect? Yeah, this game's over. This Ice Beam's going to knock him out. Pretty much no matter what. I don't think there's any way he lives this. We already saw his Toxicroak, so he can't be Assault Vest or Yachi. And there it is. So, good game to my opponent in the Delhi Darkrais. And that is it for our Week 1 match. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun doing the live comms, so I did enjoy it a little bit more than the post comms. Like I said, it was my first one, so definitely a little bit rough around the edges. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.